When Elaine turned 60, she thought style was something that belonged to her younger years. She had spent most of her life working as a teacher, raising two children, and keeping her home together. Clothes were practical, not playful. But in 2025, at 63, she found herself standing in front of her closet and realizing she wanted to look good again. Not younger, not like her 25-year-old daughter, but better in her own skin. Elaine's journey into rediscovering style wasn't about chasing trends meant for teenagers. It was about learning the subtle things that made her feel polished, confident, and current. She didn't want compliments that said, "You look so young." She wanted people to say, "You look amazing." Over time, she uncovered 17 small style tips that transformed the way she carried herself, tips that helped her embrace the woman she had become while still enjoying fashion. The first thing Elaine discovered was the power of perfectly fitting jeans. For years, she had worn baggy denim because she thought it was comfortable, but in 2025, she found brands designing jeans for mature women, high-waisted, stretchy, and sleek. When she slipped into a pair that hugged her shape without squeezing, she looked in the mirror and thought, "This is me, modern, but not pretending." The second tip came from her friend Marjorie, who swore by structured blazers. Elaine had avoided blazers since retiring, but she realized a well-cut jacket instantly sharpened her look. Paired with jeans, trousers, or even a dress, it gave her the kind of sophistication that didn't scream work, but whispered elegance. The third tip was investing in good shoes. Not towering heels, not flimsy flats, but shoes with support and style. A pair of leather ankle boots and chic sneakers became her staples. Her posture changed, her stride became confident, and suddenly her outfits looked complete. Fourth, Elaine learned the subtle magic of tailoring. Off-the-rack clothes often didn't sit right, but a small adjustment at the seamstress turned an ordinary dress into something flattering. She began tailoring pants to the right length, nipping in waists, and even adjusting sleeves. Clothes no longer wore her, she wore them. Fifth was choosing fabrics that draped instead of clung. Soft knits, silks, and lightweight wools replaced scratchy polyester. They moved with her body, skimming instead of squeezing. She noticed people didn't see wrinkles first. They saw how gracefully her clothes flowed. The sixth tip surprised her: adding color strategically. For years, she'd hidden in black and navy, believing they were slimming. But a coral scarf, a soft lavender blouse, even a mustard handbag brightened her whole look. Color near her face made her skin glow, and suddenly she didn't look washed out in photos anymore. Seventh, Elaine realized the importance of modern eyewear. Her old glasses had heavy frames that aged her. When she updated them to sleek contemporary frames, it was like she had shed 10 years, not because she looked younger, but because she looked current. Eighth was understated jewelry. Elaine swapped chunky costume pieces for delicate gold hoops, layered necklaces, and a slim bracelet. The sparkle was subtle, but it elevated her outfits. Jewelry, she learned, was less about size and more about refinement. Ninth was clean, simple lines. She stopped buying overly complicated prints and busy patterns that overwhelmed her frame. Instead, she chose elegant cuts: an A-line skirt, a straight-leg pant, a tunic with just the right drape. Her clothes no longer competed with her. They highlighted her. 10th, Elaine embraced monochrome dressing. Wearing one color head to toe, shades of beige, cream, or navy, gave her an instant polished look. Even when the pieces were simple, the overall effect was chic and intentional. 11th, she discovered the joy of scarves and wraps. In 2025, lightweight scarves with modern prints were everywhere. Elaine used them to add flair to plain outfits, draping one over her shoulders at dinner or tying one loosely at her neck. It was an accessory that didn't try too hard, but always made her look styled. 12th was quality handbags. Instead of several cheap bags, Elaine invested in two timeless leather ones, one tote and one crossbody. Every outfit looked more elevated when she carried them, and she realized people noticed details like this more than anything else. 13th, Elaine learned the power of updated haircuts. She didn't try to recreate the styles of her youth. Instead, she asked her stylist for something modern, with soft layers that framed her face. She let her natural gray blend with highlights, creating dimension instead of fighting it. 14th, she adopted the rule of comfort plus style. If something pinched, scratched, or sagged, she stopped wearing it, no matter how trendy. She realized confidence came when her clothes worked with her body, not against it. Looking better wasn't about suffering, it was about ease. 15th, Elaine noticed the importance of grooming. Well-kept nails, a little tinted moisturizer, and neatly shaped brows made a bigger difference than any flashy trend. She didn't need full makeup anymore, just small touches that showed she cared about her presentation. 16th, she rediscovered dresses. For years, she had abandoned them, thinking they were impractical. But midi dresses in modern prints and comfortable fabrics gave her freedom and femininity. Paired with sneakers in the day or boots in the evening, they became her new go-to. And finally, 17th, Elaine embraced the idea of signature style. She didn't chase every fashion wave. Instead, she built a wardrobe that felt like her: jeans and blazers, scarves, chic sneakers, tailored trousers, and soft blouses in jewel tones. Over time, people began to recognize her look. She wasn't copying anyone else. She was presenting herself. By the spring of 2025, Elaine walked differently. She wasn't dressed like her daughter or her granddaughter, and she wasn't trying to erase her age. She was simply showing up as the best version of herself. At a family gathering, her son said, "Mom, you look incredible." He didn't say young, he said incredible. And that was exactly what Elaine had been hoping for. Her friends noticed too. They began asking her where she bought her jeans, how she tied her scarf, who cut her hair. Elaine shared her tips, not as commandments, but as encouragement. She told them style at 60 wasn't about competing with younger women. It was about expressing the beauty of the life you had lived with polish and pride. When she looked in the mirror now, Elaine no longer saw the absence of her youth. She saw presence, her own presence. The habits she adopted didn't erase her age. They honored it while adding grace, color, and confidence. Looking better in her 60s wasn't about denial. It was about authenticity, carried with style. And that, she realized, was the kind of beauty that never faded. Word count 11 on 8.